In this video, we're going to be going over a 30-minute long strategy for Bitcoin, which you can see the results of in the back screen right here. And we're going to go over exactly how to play it out, how to enter, how to exit, how to manage risk. And I do want to say at the outset that the strategy will use the Krown VMP indicator, which you can get for free for the first month if you follow the directions in the link in the description below for the Teachable page and use the coupon code, very specifically Abundance, which is actually the coupon code for everything that we have going on right now because it's actually a sale. Anyways, first things first, I do want to address a few things. So this strategy is back tested from the full history of Bybit, which runs through 2018 to current times in May of 2024. So this one has seen a pretty diverse history. It's tested through bear markets, bull markets, black swans, and even a white swan in there too. So I do quite like the results. And I just want to point out here that this one survives quite well, even with a not super high percent profitable rate, meaning that the hit rate is just below 55%. But because of the way that this one manages risk, you can see that over time, that equity curve continues to maintain the uptrend. Also, before we get into the actual details of it, I do want to address a few things down here. Just looking at the average winning trade and the average losing trade, you can see the average winning trade returning about 1.34%, and the average losing trade having a negative return, that's what we say, at 1.2%. Also, I think what is rather interesting on this one, if I can read my face for a moment, is the amount of time in the trade. So the average amount of bars in winning trades is 16, and in losing trades is 13. So on a 30-minute time frame, that is, that's quite some time, actually. That's a lot of time. So it does require a little bit of patience, obviously, as you are using a 30-minute time frame. But if you can have that patience for, years on end, then, well, I hope the returns speak for themselves. And if they don't, then click off this video because none of the rest of the shit's going to make any sense to you. But fair enough. Okay. So to demonstrate the entry and exit criteria for this, I'm actually going to be using the Krown Quant automation services. You don't need this service in order to play this out or to do this. It just makes obviously testing a lot easier and a lot faster. And yes, the service actually does allow you to automate your execution. So just be aware of those things. And of course, that one is also on sale. If you follow the directions in the link in the description below, same code. In fact, I'll actually just type it out right here, and then we'll get into exactly how to format this. And what the criteria will be. So there's your code, and let's just jump right into it. So I'm actually going to use the template here. Okay, so first things first, strategy direction, long side, obviously. And other than that, the first entry condition we're actually going to have is that the VMP, the Krown VMP, must be white upon entry. So when we're talking about the white of this one, we're talking about specifically this moving oscillator right here. Let me actually get rid of this. There we go. You can see this one in the background. Well, actually, let me get rid of everything except for that one because that is the topic at hand. Boom and boom. When this one turns white, that condition is solidified. But then, of course, the next other entry conditions need to be concurrently true. So what we need to see next is that the Krown VMP percentile, which is this portion of the VMP indicator, and just put it right there, needs to be above 45 percentile. So 45 percentile is where my cursor is currently at right now. You can see that sometimes it drops below, sometimes it's above, but again, that would be the next condition that needs to be available. So we need to see the VMP fast turn white and then the percentile be below 45. Okay, what's the next entry condition? Well, we go back on over here and we scroll down, and what else do we have? We need to see that the PMARP, which is a freely available indicator on TradingView, the plot line of this needs to be less than or equal to 30. So in this case, we have the PMARP in this pane here, and I would just put in a nice horizontal line at 30. So there we go. So we can keep an eye on that one. And we'll go back into here. Okay, is that it for our entry conditions? No, it is not actually. It is not. We have one more big one at least. Now, for this condition, the range condition, that means that we need to see the in this case, going to be the VMP fast. So we're going back to this one. We need to see that above 27, but below 39. So if it's above 27, but below 39, while the other conditions are simultaneously present, meaning that the fast is white and also below the 45 percentile, then we do have the green light. So I'm going to mark off these areas on the VMP here. Okay, 27 would be right about there. And what was it? 39 to the other side would be about here. Close enough. So when we see this turn white within this zone right here, that is when those conditions are fulfilled. And then of course the PMARP needs to be below 30 percentile simultaneously. So we can actually obviously see on the chart here that there is this particular bar, which does does satisfy those conditions. Okay, so now let's get a little bit more into the nitty gritty, because there are some more conditions here that this tool does allow us to quickly and easily test, which is why I happen to know that these conditions are decent. But we need to first address a max stop loss and a max take profit. So in this case, we're going to be using a max stop loss by percentage of 1.3%. So that means that if price trades against us, in this case to the downside, 1.3%, we're out. We're out. We take the loss on the closure of that period. And for the max take profit, we will take profit automatically on any sort of a move 2.3% better than the entry. So obviously above the entry in that case. And then also we want to optimize what days we use this. And the days that we're going to use this is basically every day except for Thursday, because fuck Thursdays. Oh, and also we should actually plot the performance table as well. That's another little cool feature of this tool that it will allow you to do. Let me actually see, is it plotting? Yes, there we go. It only gives us the results for, the regular back test here. But it's actually had a pretty damn good last year. Only losing months was May of 2023 and April, and so far actually May of this year as well. But overall, those have been the returns. And then there's one last thing here. We do have a general risk management criteria, what we refer to in the Krown Qual automation service as the basic risk stop or the emergency risk stop. These are fancy words for just horizontal lines of support and resistance, which you can get pretty much the same, not exactly the same, slightly different logic, but very, very similar logic to that with the Lux Algo support and resistance. So let me actually just plop it up right there. It's this one right here by Lux Algo. It has over 20,000 likes on it. And if you put it in, it'll look something like this, right? So if we, for example, were entering on this one right here, it would pull the most recent or the most relevant support. And if price starts to close below that region, out. So you can see several examples here, obviously, in the past. Where this one has fired off. Actually had a couple losses right there. Actually 3 losses in a row. But over time, again, that's why we use time on our side, and actually printing quite well there. So anyways, that is the setup in and of itself. It's simple, but not simple, right? It's simple to play out. It's hard to find, which is why we do with this particular service, the Krown Qual automation, we actually have strategy templates that we give out to the community that you can essentially iterate off of or use if you so desire as well. And of course you can automate these sort of features. So what else would I say about this? I would say that mainly my main purpose on a video like this is to, one, show you what a strategy could look like, two, showcase both the VMP and the skeleton key, or the Krown Qual automation services. We also call it the skeleton key, in case you're wondering where that name comes from. And I just want to make sure that anyone who's interested in this, who's essentially interested in getting into automatic or automated algorithmic trading, that you have this information, because we do have a sale going on right now. It'll be the biggest sale that we'll have going onwards and forwards from here now. Obviously in the past we did have a bigger sale, slightly bigger sale, but this is the biggest sale that we'll ever have from this point at 20% off of all payments, for that monthly service. So here's the thing with this tool, you can test any strategy that you want. I mean, any of these criteria you can fill out in any way, shape, or form that you can imagine, and there is billion, quadrillion, million combinations here, which is just impossible to go fully through. But at the end of the day, it's about finding something that, you know, you're happy with, and that you can, that you're, that you can basically just not touch. That is the real, you know what? I'll tell you the real skill of algo trading. Once you have your strategy, in this case, I'm actually only looking at the history for like the last 6 months here. Let me go to the full history for the strategy. It's not fucking getting in your way. Now, you probably think, if I had a fucking robot slave to trade for me, that would be easy. And yes, it does certainly solve some issues that people have with trading. But I noticed for myself, and I've certainly seen this with other people as well, is that the bot will trade for you. And then what you do is that while it's in a trade, you say, hey, I'm smarter than Mr. Bot Fuckface, and I'm going to start making my own moves right here. In my experience, I will get it right 1 out of 10 times. The other 9 times, I either take a bigger loss than what I should have taken, or I miss out on a big gain because I thought that it'd be better to take profit earlier. At the end of the day, automated trading comes with its own set of challenges that is different than discretionary trading, or really any other form of trading. But if you're of the mindset or proclivities that makes more sense for you, or it's easy to manage for you, then yeah, I do want to make sure that you have this information here, because this is, in my opinion, the best service that we have, and the best service that I've really seen with anything like this, that allows you to construct and test any sort of strategy that you have. So I really want to be loud about it, because it's changed my life since I really started using these tools. I started getting into like full on automated trading about a couple of years now. I mean, I did kind of start off my career with this, but that was in a different, professional manner. Ever since switching over to crypto, it's mostly discretionary until I started to get around these sort of tools, getting to work with some of the developers that I've had the pleasure of working with. So that's it for this one, a 30-minute time frame strategy for Bitcoin. Again, you don't need the Krown Quant automation service in order to play this out. You can obviously go through all of the individual criteria that we outlaid earlier. And yeah, if you can do that, then fair enough. But of course, that service is there for you, as well as the VMP. The VMP, again, you can get for free with that code abundance in all capitals, and the Krown Quant automation, you can get 20% off with that same code. So one thing's right there. The sale will go on for until next week. Until next week. If you're viewing this at a later date, that would be early in June. So we will end things right there. As always, I want to wish you the best. I'll bring out more videos like this if you are interested. Just examples of trading strategies that you can employ right now, essentially. And with that said, wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully next time.